What's up, guys? Welcome back to Malt Mondays. Today I'm looking at the Hibiki Harmony. It's been a few weeks since my last video, and that wasn't really by choice. I just had a lot of stuff. I was very busy, but I should be back to weekly videos. And like I said in my Hibiki 12 review, I'm going to be looking at the Harmony. Now, the Harmony was released essentially to replace the 12. They haven't officially discontinued the 12, but there's still some bottles floating around, but the production's very limited, and it's pretty tricky to get a hold of. So, it comes in this nice box, just like the 12-year. The 12-year does come in a shiny purple box, though. It looks a little higher end, but really that's just kind of some of the presentation. But we still get the nice Japanese paper on the front, the same 24-sided bottle that represents the seasons of the calendar, and overall this still screams quality in terms of the glass stopper. They're not cutting corners there, but what really interests me is what's in the bottle, because this is priced at the same $70 where I am that the Hibiki 12 originally was. So it's moved to a non-age statement, which just means that there's almost definitely whiskey younger than 12 years in the bottle, rather than everything being a minimum of 12 years. But that doesn't mean that everything in here is younger than that. There's still probably some 15, 17-year-old whiskey in there, but certainly they've had to cut back on the aged whiskeys going into this because they just don't have the supply of them anymore. Now, I do believe this is still at 43%. Yep, still 43% ABV, so they're not cutting corners there. They're still giving you that extra alcohol in the bottle. And really, compared to the 12-year, the color is almost identical. So even though we don't know for sure that they don't add coloring, I don't think they add much if they do, because these are pretty light colored whiskeys. It's probably the case that they add enough to make it look the same as the old 12-year-old, or at least they don't want it to look as young as it is. But that could just be conjecture. They may not add any coloring at all, and this may be fully mature whiskey. This could be 10-year-old whiskey. And really the difference in color between a 10 and a 12-year-old whiskey from the same barrels is going to be almost non-existent. Most of that coloring comes in right away when in the first few years of a whiskey's life. So yeah, I can already smell this a little bit actually. It's got that nice florality that's coming out. So really what I'm looking for here is this a worthy replacement? There is something about age that tends to make whiskey better, but that's not always true. Sometimes younger whiskeys can be more interesting and sometimes better than the older ones. So just because this is a non-age statement doesn't inherently mean it's worse whiskey. I believe they're still using the same blend of malts, the same proportions of them as the Hibiki 12, just maybe a little bit younger. But they could have adjusted that as well. So yeah, on the nose, I actually can detect just a little bit of alcohol. And that's non-existent in the 12-year-old. It really is completely mellow. You know, there's no alcohol on the nose. Here I get just a touch. And for a $70 whiskey, I don't know that that should be there, but it's very minimal, so it will probably dissipate with a minute or two in the glass. But let's see what flavors I can pick out. There's a little bit of an oakiness coming out on the nose. I don't think this is nearly as floral or fruity on the nose as the 12. This almost comes off like it smells older than the 12-year-old. Because there's like some sandalwood, wood dust. I'm not getting any of the fresh tropical fruits that I found in the original. I mean, there's some banana. There's some red fruit, but it's really hidden in the background. More I get like a creamy custard. So let's see how it tastes. Okay. So I get more of that Hibiki character in the flavor. A lot more of it, actually. The nose is a little bit disappointing. It almost lacks all the complexity that really makes Hibiki stand out to me. And it kind of lacks some of those defining characteristics that I associate with Japanese whiskey. But the palate brings all that back. So I'm really not sure what they've done with this. You know, not every whiskey smells the way that it tastes. They don't necessarily need to. That's usually something that I personally like to see in a whiskey because I think it portrays more of a complete package and more of a complete experience when the distiller is able to get across what the whiskey is going to taste like without you ever drinking it. I think if you can smell it and pick out 75% of the same flavors that you're going to get when you taste it, that's a mark of a really well-made whiskey, and especially when it's not just one or two flavors and it's a whole spectrum. But on this, I actually kind of feel like they don't resonate together very well. So I'm going to smell it again and just see if I can get any new aromas now that it's sat in the glass for a couple minutes, now that I've tasted it. I mean, there's a little more there. A little more of the tropical banana, but it's just really thin on the nose to me. I really don't think this smells like a $70 whiskey. Maybe $50. It's just a little too simple. Flavor, though, it's actually pretty good. You get little bits of maybe like a white chocolate. Definitely more of the fruitiness in there. So I'm really not quite sure what they did with this. And if I look at the tasting notes they provide, they say nose, rose, rosemary, mature woodiness, sandalwood. So yeah, I totally agree on the nose that there's woodiness, and I think I even said sandalwood. And maybe there's rose. I don't know. It's pretty subtle if it's there. I guess you could call what's going on rosemary, but again, I think they're kind of stretching there. On the palate, honey sweetness, candied orange, white chocolate. So I definitely got the white chocolate. But I don't know. This to me tastes more like what I expected Hibiki to be like in the first place. Decent blend, but nothing exceptional. And the 12-year-old, I think, really stood out from that as far as blends go and is really exceptional. This is pretty average, in my opinion. $70, I really don't think I'm going to buy another one of these. I may, just because it's pretty much the only Japanese whiskey available. But really, I think you'd be better off picking up an EY Tradition. I think those run $50, and if I remember that correctly, it's quite a bit more interesting than the Harmony. So the Harmony, I'm going to say, is a try it before you buy it whiskey, because if you know you like Hibiki, you're not going to hate this. I just think you're going to be disappointed. But if you haven't had a chance to try Hibiki at all, certainly find this at a bar somewhere or someone's house and try it. But I really don't feel like it's good enough for me to just recommend you go out and buy one. So I hope you liked this video. Make sure to check back next week. I should have another video up. I'm not sure what I'm doing yet, but I'm sure it'll be good. I did just find a bottle of Hibiki 17-year-old at a liquor store, and I couldn't believe my luck. I found it, I bought it, but I'm saving it for a while, so there will be a review of that at some point. I haven't ever had it before, but it's not going to be soon. I'm saving it for some sort of special occasion to open it with some friends. But come back next week. I'll have another review for you. And as always, let me know down in the comments below what you think of the Hibiki Harmony if you've had it before. And please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.